All right, so moving into our sales shuffle. So sometimes people feel like sales are uncomfortable. You don't want to feel salesy. So you kind of backtrack a little bit when you're talking to a new family, and it's a bit awkward. But what you've got to remember, and keep saying this to yourself, is you're doing them a favor by actually making sure they come to you, because you know you're the best studio in the area. So if they don't come to you and they go down the road, they're not going to get the best training. So you're actually doing them a disservice if you don't sell them your studio. So just remember, it is you're doing something good for them. Alrighty. So thinking of it that way, that you're doing them a favor, and present it like, well, this is what I can give you. You know, you can't get this somewhere else, rather than thinking of, I'm going to sell to them. All right. Just makes it a little bit easier for you. So it's actually your fault if they don't get good training. I don't know how that works, but yeah, it does. Okay. So paid advertising. Where does your avatar hang out? You need to know. Now, I'm guessing most people, it's going to be Facebook and Instagram. And I do have some stats on this a little bit later. Meta is expensive now and hard to target. There is a new thing we're just trialing at the moment called, I think it's Advantage Plus on Meta. And I might, when I get to the Facebook stuff later, I might mention that again. You can use your lead ads. Now, I don't do training on Facebook. That's not my forte. If you join our business program, obviously we have videos from professional Facebook advertisers that you can watch the training videos, which I watch more than once. Like, I'll watch them several times. You can have things like signage on buildings, on the primary school, wherever. Obviously, flyers have gone a little bit out of date because of the littering situation. We used to be able to put them in places, but now, you know, they get dropped and stuff. But obviously, flyer drops you can do. There's still local publications. Local newsletters, the preschool, sorry, people tripping over, the preschool publications and stuff like that. So there's obviously a lot of other paid advertising you can do, but I'd say most of it's probably sitting on Facebook. Thinking about your budgeting when you're doing your sales. So firstly, work out your cost of customer acquisition, okay? So how much does it cost you to get that student? And sometimes it's really scary how much it costs. It's at first you go, whoa. So, for example, if you spend $5,000 on your Meta ads, your Facebook and Instagram ads, and you enroll 10 students, which is reasonable, it costs you $500 to get each one. It's a simple maths, yes? So you did your 5,000 divided by the 10 you got. Pardon me, is your 500. Pardon me, I'm just going to grab a sip of water because I think my throat's going. Might be a tip. Oh, it's not technical issues, it's throat issues. All right, so your lifetime value, you can take photos of these screens too if you want to apply them to your studio. So work out how much a customer's worth over their lifetime. So the lifetime value of a customer, it means you're going to have to work out what an average customer stays for. Like here, I've just estimated that our average customer stays around about 2 years. So this is working on a 2-year cycle for a student. So for me, I've said, all right, this student does 2 years and usually about 2 hours of classes a week. So that's over the 2 years worth $2,000 to me. I make profit on, say, the uniforms, $300, and profit on costumes or concert, another couple of $100. So my lifetime value of an average customer is $2,500. Now, I know that's going to be hard to work out because some customers stay for, 5 minutes and other customers stay for 10 years. And, I had students that got their 20th award at my studio. So I think we went past 20. I think we got to 25. But what I'm saying is it is hard to work out. So you just got to go for an average. So I think two hours and 2 years was probably a good average for me. So that's $2,500. So when I looked at that, an average student's worth $2,500. The cost to acquire the student was $500. So it left me $2,000 of the profit. Then I had to take out all the associated costs. You take out, you could take this out earlier. It's up to you where you take this out, but that would be like your teacher wages and any gifts or anything you bought. So then my total profit for that student was $1,500. Is that worth it? That's what you need to decide. How much are you prepared to budget to get in students, knowing that they're going to make you what they're going to make you, just knowing your numbers, is going to be really important in your sales process. The lead magnet, we did talk about a little bit before. I prefer free lead magnets, but it's totally up to you. I know some studio owners feel uncomfortable with it being free. But it's much easier to sell someone into a small, free or low cost event or thing than it is to sell, come and join me for 10 years. Okay, that's a much bigger commitment from them. So what's a nice small commitment? So that's why it would usually be, say, a free class or something like that, or a free event or whatever you're creating as your lead magnet. So getting them into that small event is going to be a lot easier. And once you've got them in the door, then your sales process, which remember, your sales process is not icky. Your sales process is great because you're giving them something. You're making them come to the best place and giving them the best studio experience. So it's not icky. So you can sell to them once they're in the door much easier than trying to sell through a meta ad, you know. Make that experience memorable. If you're giving them a free class or a free event, again, give them more than they expect. Remember the balloons or, I don't know, the colouring in or whatever it is you want to give them, make sure they get a little bit more so that when they go home, all they think about is how fun. You know, I used to go a little bit overboard, and our event had jumping castles, sausage sizzles, fairy floss, popcorn. Like, I just went over the top and made it like a carnival, and it worked. And it is hard to do that if you don't have a really big venue. Like, our venue was big enough to pop a jumping castle in the middle and still run classes. And so, you know, that was a little bit over the top, but it did work. We did get a lot of students through that lead magnet. Okay. Our next one is our autoresponders. These are absolutely necessary. And I noticed some of you, and it might be some on the call today, definitely have autoresponders when I first sent out these emails to you. Great. That's perfect. Having an autoresponder, no matter how simple, is really good to start with. Most of them were only, sorry, we're not here at the moment, blah, blah, blah. Yes, so an autoresponder is a computer program that automatically answers an email. So yes, that's a basic autoresponder. We're not in, we're on school holidays. But you know what? If I've made that inquiry and I don't follow it up, you've just lost me. I know you're on school holidays. You shouldn't have to answer on school holidays. You should have time off. But you lost me because you haven't put me on an inquiry sequence or something to that effect. So you need an inquiry sequence, which probably goes between, I would say, 5 to 7 emails. And that is just telling them about the studio. So glad you contacted us. Someone will be in touch with you within 24 hours. Here's a bit about the studio. The next one might be, oh, did you see this amazing thing that happened to one of our students? Or this is where we come from, a little bit about our history. They're short, they're simple, they're not annoying, but you know what? You're not losing that person. They're staying on your inquiry sequence, and you will have to contact them personally as well. Don't get me wrong, but this just keeps them remembering you're there. Yeah, not losing contact with you. You would swap them over to a welcome sequence. So that's nice and smooth once they enroll. If they don't enroll, then so your welcome sequence would have things about, you know, how you want them to behave, what they've got to wear, all that sort of stuff. Your nurture sequence is if they don't enroll in that, say, 2-week period or whatever period you chose for your inquiries, then I would look at the nurture sequence as maybe a 12-month emails, maybe only once a month or something, just to keep tapping them on the shoulder going, I know you didn't join in January because you were probably busy, but it's now April. Do you want to join still? It could be anything, just little tips, little hints, whatever, but it's just reminding them that you haven't forgotten, you care about them enough to just tap them on the shoulder. That might go for 12 months, and then you might go, okay, they're not interested, and you might leave them off. That would be a really good sales because the money's in the follow-up. Yeah, people need to be followed up. I think it's 7 times you need to have contact with them before they're usually going to buy. The other ones I've got a bit off track. So, and the new team member autoresponder helps you if then you don't have to worry about training the team member up. Promo sequences, obviously you might have events that happen every year. Once you've got a sequence, you just rinse and repeat it and pop it in every year, saves you some effort. And there's endless ideas of autoresponders, and you just keep them, revamp them a bit, chuck them out again. All right, so autoresponders are amazing. You need to have them. Other sales tips, there's the 7 touch points. So a customer needs to, a family need to have 7 times on average that they see you, hear about you, talk to you, get an email, or whatever it might be, 7 touch points. And that is usually about when it's a purchase time for them. Like, that's on average, obviously. Social proof everywhere. Make sure you have testimonials from families, videos of, you know, kids saying how much fun they're having. Make sure you social proof so people know that you are doing what you say you're doing. The use of videos is obviously at the moment much more captivating than just photos, but certainly than text alone. Scripts are really important in your sales process. Not that you're going to read, like, I don't want your staff to answer the phone and go, hello, yes, this is a really good, like, you know, not talking script like that, but have an overall training on for your team or yourself about what you're going to say each time. Because, you know, sometimes, especially if you are on your own, a studio owner, you're in a bad mood running around something, you just, you know, broken your vase and the phone rings and you answer the phone. If you've got to click into script mode, it's going to help you because you know what to say. It's already planned out pretty much, and you can snap into that mode if you need to. But for staff, continuity is going to make a huge difference because everyone's going to do it the same way. And track. Don't lose your person. Put them in. We put ours on a Trello card. This is what we contacted, and this is what they said. Then someone called them this day and they said they're coming in this day. They didn't turn up on this day. Best we give them another call, reschedule for this day. And your CRM will also, depending on what your CRM is, your customer relations management should have a tracking system for leads in there once they come into the studio, like once they join the class, the free class. But they are all different. So I'll talk about those a little bit later, and it's a bit of research has to go into those if you don't have one. So coming up to the end of Sales Shuffle, let's just do a quick summary. So helping people make a decision which will ultimately benefit them. That's what sales is. So you're actually giving them something, so don't feel icky. Work out what your avatar wants and where you're going to find that avatar, who they are, what they want. Work out what your budget is, what you're prepared to spend to get how many students in the door, and then stick to your budget. Get a lead magnet and give them more than they expect. Make it a memorable experience. Be Disneyland. Have your autoresponders and emails set up. Have lots of them set up. Like, just go crazy with autoresponders. 7 touch points, don't forget. So yeah, remembering you might have to, you know, they might say they're going to come, but then soccer took over and they couldn't get there that day. It's okay to remind them the next week. Yeah, okay, they missed it because of soccer. The next week they might be able to plan it better. So don't worry about, you do need to have more than 1 or 2 touch points. Don't be worried about having more than that. Get your testimonials from your current fans. Simple. Send out a Google form. Go into class video. It's pretty simple for you. You've got lots of people who like being in front of the camera, unlike a lot of other businesses. Get filming for your autoresponders. In your autoresponders, I usually like to put videos as well. Also for adverts, obviously videos are going to be better. Do scripts for consistency and continuity for you and or your team, and make sure you're tracking your leads so you know where they're up to.